Hey there guys, and welcome to Ripped Apart. We once again continue going through stories from real parents regarding real issues with social services. I have updated a few little things. For example, now I ask whether it's the UK or the US or France, whatever it might be. I now ask for a generic location, simply so I can say, oh, in France this happened. So let's get straight on to it. In 2021 in the UK, a single parent faced the daunting echoes of domestic violence. The wounds, both physical and emotional, told a tale of silent suffering. The parent, determined to shield their children from the storm, desperately clinging to the remnants of a shattered life. Amidst the struggle, social services cast a judgmental eye, blaming the parent for the scars inflicted upon them. In a cruel twist of fate, the very system designed to protect tore apart the fragile bonds that held this family together. Social services, quick to point fingers, failed to recognize the silent cries for help that echoed through the quarters. No lifeline was thrown, no support, no hand extended. The parent, a victim, caught in the web of circumstance, pleaded for understanding, but their cries fell on deaf ears. The children, innocent witnesses to a tragedy not of their making, were deemed better off without the love and warmth of their only protector. As the days turned into months, the apartment echoed with the haunting silence of loss. The parent, now stripped of their role as parent, walked through life a mere shell of who they once were. The shadows of despair clung to them, a constant reminder of a system that failed to see beyond the surface. Yet, within muted grief, a glimmer of resilience emerged. The parent, though battered, refused to succumb entirely to the darkness. They navigated the labyrinth of despair, seeking a path forward. Friends who recognized the injustice rallied to offer a glimmer of support in this desolate situation. The children, placed in an unfamiliar home, carried the weight of an untold story. They yearned for the familiar embrace of their own parents, who had become a victim of society's shortcomings. In this case, it sees OP has battled through an incredible amount to feel, quite literally, to feel a cold shoulder. The story portrays the grim consequences of a flawed social service system that blames a parent for being a victim. In this case, a victim of domestic violence. Despite the parents' pleas for help, social services, blinded by judgment, just simply removed the children from their care. The story delves into the silent suffering of the parent, the impact on the children that fails to offer support. It explores themes of injustice, resilience, and quite literally the silent struggles faced by those caught in the crossfire of social services and their judgment. In 2013, roughly, one day a knock on the door shattered the stillness of my mundane afternoon. Curiosity mingled with trepidation as I opened it, to find two strangers standing there, their faces etched with concern. They introduced themselves as social services. Their eyes darted to the window where my toddler could be seen, playing with their toys. With a pointed look, one of them asked about the bruise on their arm. I felt an uneasy tension in the air. As I stumbled for words, "How did they get that bruise?" they inquired, their voices etched with suspicion. Defensive, I retorted with, "What do you think? Kids play. They get bumps and bruises. It's normal." But they seemed unconvinced, their gaze piercing through my feeble explanation. It wasn't feeble, though, it's true. My son, oblivious to the tension, chimed in from the corner of the room. I got out on the trampoline. The strangers, social services, exchanged glances, then abruptly left without another word. Bewildered, I pondered their unexpected visit. The unease lingering in the air propelled me to take action. Fueled by concern, I rushed to my son's school, accompanied by the police, eager to clear any misunderstanding. To my astonishment, the school authorities corroborated the stranger's suspicions. They expressed concern about my child's well-being. And their worry didn't stop there. It escalated with the police, seemingly convinced of negligence, decided to arrest me. The world blurred as I was led away, grappling with the sudden turn of events. The nightmare continued as I found myself in a bleak room, subject to questioning and scrutiny. The authorities cited my erratic behavior at the doctor's office in the days prior as an additional cause for concern. The days turned into a blur, marked by uncertainty and confusion. Eventually, I was not only arrested but also sectioned, confined to a realm where reality and delusion intertwined. As I grappled with the consequences of that fateful afternoon, the truth remained elusive to them, buried beneath layers of misunderstanding and suspicion. In this case, OP has informed me that they do not mind details being shared, but their name, location, their kid's name, all of which I don't have, by the way, will stay under wraps for their own well-being. Unfortunately, I am unable to make any further comments because I am unaware whether the OP has had the children return to their care or not. As far as it seems so far, social services came into OP's life and ruined it. Social services pretty much picked up OP, held them upside down, shook until the pieces fell onto the carpet, and then asked why are there pieces on the carpet. That's how it sounds. In a harrowing twist of fate, a routine day transformed into a nightmare when the school, fueled by false allegations, separated my children from me. Despite the allegations being proven false, the authorities clung to their decision, constructing a case against me rooted in past domestic violence and trauma. I had long left behind the shadows of an abusive relationship, fleeing to another country to ensure a fresh start. Little did I know that my past would come back to haunt me. Social services, unmoved by the truth, insisted on 2 years of therapy before considering the return of my kids. I diligently engaged in various self-improvement courses, seeking to prove my commitment to a healthier, safer environment. To my dismay, social services, blinded by their preconceptions, refused to acknowledge any progress. Contact with my children became a distant dream, and the prospect of their return felt like an ever-receding mirage. The system seemed to work against me, indifferent to the injustices afflicted upon me. As if the ordeal wasn't enough, my disability became a target for bullying. The very system designed to protect seemed to have turned against me. My address was meant to be confidential. It was exposed to my abuser, unleashing a fresh wave of torment. I reached out to the police, hoping for justice, but their response seemed delayed, leaving me in a state of vulnerability. Adding to the agony, the foster care provider, entrusted with the well-being of my children, violated laws by sharing videos of our private moments on social media. Both she and social services acted with impunity, seemingly untouchable by the legal consequences of their actions. In the midst of the chaos, I clung to the hope that justice would prevail. The journey to reclaim my children was fraught with obstacles, but I vowed to persevere. The echoes of my pleas for help reverberated in the silence of the bureaucracy, but I refused to succumb to despair. The fight for justice, the right to be reunited with my children, became a battle against a system that had lost sight of its purpose. Now, this seems to be a repeating theme, not just for OP, but for pretty much all the stories that I read. It seems social services are a system designed to help, and they do everything they can to not help. It's like, sure, they give you some glimmers of light here and there, but in the long run, it's just darkness, all of it. It seems social services have made a name for themselves. Like, they know that people look to them to try and get situations sorted out. For example, if someone comes to your house, they have a right to contact social services if they feel the children are in danger. However, that doesn't account for anything at all, because social services come to the property, they find out your children are not in danger, and they remove them anyway. How on earth did they get the generalization of we take children if they don't? Every single case I have read so far, I've asked the OP, has your child or children been removed? And the answer has been yes. In 100% of cases so far, it's always been yes. Even when proven wrong, they still remove children. It's like their reputation of removing kids goes beyond their reputation of being nice people. These stories are from real people going through real issues. And the unfortunate thing is, after a family is ripped apart, the parents are left with less family, yet still the pieces to pick up. They can scream and moan all they like, but the only people that listen are those that have lived it. And those that have lived it, all they can say is, it gets better. The really sad part is nobody wants it to get better. They need it to be better. They need their children to be better. Well, that's everything from me for now. But be assured this will not be the last story you hear of a mother or father feeling ripped apart. See the description for a way to send me your own stories as well. Thanks for listening.